So, what was your take on that? I mean, I noticed it in the moment. They weren't necessarily the guys that you wanted them to
Yeah.
target at that particular time, but as the days have kind of rolled over, the more tape that you watch, kind of break down. Let's just start
Yeah.
with Dexter and Zach Pickens, and what the differences and similarities are between the two players.
Exactly. So Gervon Dexter, absolute freak of nature, right? He's 6'6", about
Huge.
318. He ran a 4.8. His athleticism is unreal. He has strength, length, and that's kind of a common theme that Poles and Eberflus are looking for. So I see it. When I see the tape, I see the length, I see the strength there. The one thing that kind of handcuffed him a little bit was the scheme at Florida, right? They were almost a two-gap read and react scheme. The one thing that I didn't like initially when they drafted him was the fact that this is a Tampa 2 attacking style, and he goes from a read and react defense where wasn't getting off the football, the get off wasn't there.
I was gonna say the get off probably bums you out, Corey, right? Because when when I watch it, I'm kind of like, ooh, that's a little slow. Yeah.
So me and Adam Hogue today broke down both of these guys, and he was the last person off the ball every time. And in this league, you cannot rely on your strength. You cannot rely on your athleticism if you're not getting off the football, right? So the scheme and his coaching staff letting that creep in, I'm going to blame it on that. But, when I look at him, his strength is there. His length is there. We watched the Kentucky game against Will Levis, and opening play, second play of the game, he has a move across the center, reacts back, shows his athleticism, brings Will Levis down for a sack. Another play where it looks like he's going to get washed down, and has unbelievable balance and recovery to get his hat back in the crack and then make the play for a tackle for loss. So I see everything they have in him, right? The strength is there. The athleticism is there. The one thing, I just don't know how this is going to transition. This is more of a project for me. It could pan out. But the thing is, when I look at defensive linemen, I like to see the get off. Whether you're in a read and react or an attacking style, you still got to get off the football when it's snapped. And there's too many times Will Levis had the ball in his hand in the shotgun, and he wasn't even getting off the ball. So if they can work on that with him, right? This is not going to be this was built overnight with him. It's going to take some time for him to trust the attacking style. But I think if he can get it, he would be my favorite pick because I think the floor is there for him. The ceiling, rather, is there. And I think he could be a dynamic player. And I look at Eberflus coaching DeForest Buckner a couple of years ago, has that similar length and size. And Dexter, I think, is a little bit quicker than Buckner, in my opinion. So I think once he can get it down, if he can get that attacking style and trust it, that get off sets everything. Because there's a bunch of times where he's close to the quarterback, and it's only because he didn't get off the ball. But at this level, you cannot do that and be successful.
Yeah, Corey, I just really want to hammer this home because I've learned this from you over the years when we heavily talk about the Tampa 2 style, that when you talk about get off and why it's so important, especially from that defensive tackle position, is you always talk about penetration is the most important thing, especially then for the defensive lines to have that space to kind of go to work on the outside. So in your opinion, the physical traits are there. And as we learned throughout the theme of this draft, I feel like that the Bears have a type, right? If they're dating, if they're on Tinder, if they're on Tinder, they got a type, Corey. You know what I mean? So he fits that bill for sure, but it is going to be really important. And do you feel like that they took a gamble on a guy's physical traits and his ceiling, but do you also kind of feel like that's the reason why they double dipped and went with Zach Pickens, 8 or 9 picks later?
Yeah, I think Zach Pickens is a little bit more polished for sure. He's used to the attacking style. Still the get off for me at times was a little bit slower, but definitely better than Dexter. So the thing when I look at Pickens, he's a little bit more stout in the running game, and he's a little bit more active with his hands in pass rush. So I like what I saw, but I think both of these guys are a little bit more of projects for. I think Pickens projects more as a nose, in my opinion. And I think Dexter's more of a 3 technique, but they said they'll utilize them in both roles. They've shown that they can play both. But, I think the ceiling is definitely higher for Dexter than Pickens. So in my opinion, the Bears didn't address the defensive line position, especially at end. They didn't address that at all, right? There was a couple talented guys that I would have liked to see them. Hall from Auburn, he was available in the second round. And in my opinion, I had a first round grade on him. You traded up for Stevenson. Why not trade up for someone like Hall? I thought because essentially right now we have DeMarcus Walker to play the left side, right, in base downs, and then Gibson or Green.
Billings, right, is on the inside, right? Billings is an inside
Billings on the
guy.
inside, but as the right end, it's either Green that we just signed or Gibson at this point. So the options are very slim. And Walker, it worries me a little bit because he's a guy that really had a breakout season last year, kind of similar to Travis Gibson a couple of years ago. And Travis Gibson this year didn't match that production. So you're betting on someone that's essentially had 1 year. If it works out, it's going to be great, but still need more options. And I know there's some free agents. Frank Clark is still available. That could be an option for a 1-year deal. I think he wants a little bit more than he's worth because during the regular season, he's been up and down, right? In the playoffs, that's where he really shines. So I think he's saying, hey, my value is there. But thing is, you got to produce all year long. So it'd be interesting to see if they bring in someone like Frank Clark because we really need 2 more defensive ends, in my opinion.